And now it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Anita Alavarez, Cook County State's Attorney. Ms. Alavarez made history when she was chosen by voters in 2008 to serve as the Cook County State's Attorney. Not only did she become the first female and the first Hispanic state's attorney, she also became the first career prosecutor ever elected to this important public safety position. Ms. Alavarez began her career in the state's attorney's office in 1986 and worked her way up through the ranks, handling hundreds of felony cases along the way. Since taking office, Ms. Alavarez has continued to make great strides for the residents of Cook County. Working to stem the tide of gang and gun violence, she has drafted bills that have been signed into law, including increasing the penalties for offenders who disarm a police officer and for gang members who are found in possession of a loaded firearm. She has also formed specialized units within the state's attorney's office to enhance the prosecution of cases involving crimes such as mortgage fraud, consumer fraud, public corruption, and human trafficking. She also authored the Illinois Safe Children's Act, a sweeping new law that enhances protections for juveniles caught up in the sex trade and provides new legal tools for police and prosecutors to target those who prostitute children. A Chicago native, Anita was born and raised in Chicago's Pilsen community. She is a graduate of Berea High School, Loyola University, and Chicago-Kent College of Law. Today, she will be speaking on the topic of human trafficking, and I ask you to join me in welcoming her, Anita Alavarez.
Good afternoon, and it's great to be here with all of you, and I want to thank Childlink for inviting me to be here at this Women's Initiative lunch. I also want to congratulate today's honorees, Judge Martin, who I know, and she does a tremendous job for us at Juvenile Court, and Dr. Lyon, congratulations. Your accomplishments and dedication to your respective professions in support of children are inspiring, and I want to offer my personal congratulations on your recognition here today. Before I begin to tell you about what the Cook County State's Attorney's Office has been doing on the important issue of human trafficking, I thought it would be an appropriate opportunity to take and wish everyone a very happy Mother's Day as we kick off Mother's Day weekend. I hope that all the mothers and daughters here today enjoy a day filled with peace, happiness, and a champagne brunch, I think. A couple of mimosas, I think. This will be a very special Mother's Day for me because my oldest son will be graduating from the University of Illinois down in Champaign with a degree in engineering. So I am very proud of him and very happy that I'm able to spend Mother's Day with him and our family when he graduates. But as we began planning Jimmy, that's my oldest son, his graduation, I had high hopes for a very relaxing weekend, despite the fact that my husband and I will be traveling to Champaign with our 3 other teenage children, including 14-year-old twin daughters. So I know that you know there's a lot of drama in my house. But now it looks like Mother's Day is going to be, or not going to be a relaxing day for me, because just yesterday my son sent me an email because he decided he didn't want to go out to dinner, and too many people, he didn't want, it's going to be too crowded, so I want to cook out at the house that he lives down, he tells me. I said, okay, fine. Then I got an email from him with a whole list of what he wants me to bring. And then he puts on the bottom, and by the way, Mom, my microwave is not working, so maybe you would like to bring the microwave from home. So it looks like, it's not going to be relaxing, but it is it's going to be a very proud moment for me to see him graduate, despite the fact it looks like I will be transporting a microwave down to Champaign. It is evident from the program here today that those women who have spoken and have been recognized, that we all have a common cause. It's clear that we all share a deep passion for innocent children who have been broken, damaged, and injured as a result of the circumstances of their life's journey. As a career prosecutor, I have seen more than my fair share of violence, abuse, and neglect against innocent children, and it goes without saying that as a woman, as women, as mothers and daughters, we need to continue to fight the battle against the abuses of innocent children. As you heard in my introduction, I was elected to the position of Cook County State's Attorney in 2008, and I'm currently running for re-election as I complete the final year of my first term. I can't believe it's been that long. Over the course of the last 3.5 years, I've worked very hard to make many changes within the office. Some of my priorities have included efforts to increase diversity and to improve our prosecution of sexual assault and domestic violence cases. I also wanted to take a new approach to the way that the Cook County State's Attorney's Office has traditionally handled cases of prostitution, particularly juvenile prostitution. I made it a top priority to develop a new approach to the way that we address the crime of human trafficking, particularly the sex trafficking of children. At that time, almost 4 years ago now, human trafficking was an issue that not many people talked about or wanted to talk about. And when they were talking about it, it was always couched as an international problem, right? It happens in this country and that country, but not our country, that it doesn't happen here. It's perceived that way to be just an international problem, but it constitutes an increased threat to freedom and safety across our entire nation. Trafficking generates billions in illicit profits each year, and global human trafficking currently ranks as the second most popular criminal enterprise, next to drugs, selling drugs. This industry victimizes both children and adults, both men and women, and it deprives its victims of basic human dignity. It includes sex trafficking and labor trafficking, such as involuntary servitude, debt bondage, or slavery. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, as many as 2.8 million children run away each year in this country. Within 48 hours of hitting the streets, it's estimated that 1/3 of these children are lured or recruited into the underground world of prostitution and pornography. Here in Cook County, the problem presents perhaps an even more serious risk to public safety. In 2003, the FBI designated Chicago as one of 13 locations of high-intensity prostitution and listed Chicago as a major sex trafficking center. Sex trafficking is driven by the number of customers who are willing to pay for sexual services, and as a major transportation hub, a convention center, a tourist destination, the demand is very high here in our jurisdiction. Although the state of Illinois had enacted human trafficking laws in 2006, I recognize that there really had been no effective prosecutions of these cases. The reality was, as an office, we did not even charge it, and there was really nothing happening in regards to trafficking. In reality, it had been a particularly difficult crime for law enforcement to tackle for a number of reasons. From the perspective of the criminal offender or the pimp, the economic gain of child prostitution or trafficking can greatly outweigh the risks. There is a very low overhead in terms of costs for the offenders, and this crime is usually difficult to detect. Another challenge is that many children will not self-identify or cooperate with police, and they identify with their pimp or their purveyor as someone who they rely on or even love. They are typically young girls from troubled and impoverished backgrounds who have been sexually victimized, have low self-esteem, and a total lack of options in their lives. In a prostitution case that my office handled a couple of years ago, one juvenile raised that she did not wish to pursue criminal charges against her pimp because, and I quote, "He gives me a Subway sandwich whenever I want it." In another case that my office investigated, a 15-year-old girl who was forced into a life of prostitution by a pimp told a heartbreaking story about how she was beaten by the man because she sometimes carried a teddy bear with her or the Bible when she was living with him. He would scold her and beat her for, quoting, acting her age. I will tell you more about that pimp in just a few moments. These stories are sobering reminders for all of us, no matter where you live or where you work. When vulnerable young women are equating the trade of sex for a deli sandwich, we must take action to stop this agonizing toll that this crime is taking on our young generation and potentially generations to come.